Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, January 3rd, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, today we have a number of celebrations, including some that are very interesting, but we'll start off in Santa Maria Impruneta in Firenze, in Tuscany, Italy. So Impruneta is a little hill town south of Florence. Now, its icon of Marian child is said to have been painted by Saint Luke and brought to Tuscany by St. Peter's disciple St. Romulus, who hid it from persecutors in Imprunentis, meaning among the pines. Then, as the story goes, it was lost until local Christians tried building a church. Now, every time they would try to build these churches, they would build the wall during the day, and at night it would fall down. So they decided to move the project to a different location. Well, when the cart of stones arrived at the site of where the church is now, the oxen knelt down. And said, something's going on here. So they excavated and found the painting. So on the site of an even more ancient place of worship, the Church of St. Mary was consecrated on January 3rd, 1060. Right? It's a very beautiful image, and they're not quite sure how old the image is, but anyways, the tradition dates it all the way back to St. Luke. Then we're going to jump over to the Virgen de la Soledad in San Juan Ixtoyapan in Tlacoc in the Distrito Federal, so in Federal District, Mexico. Today, there is a feast that commemorates the miraculous restoration of the painting, which took place in 1770. Now we're going to jump back over to Italy, and we have the beginning of the shedding of tears from the Madonna delle Lacrime di Sangue in Maropati, in Reggio Calabria, Italy, right? So what is this Madonna delle Lacrime di Sangue? It's like literally Our Lady of the Tears of Blood. Well, this is it is just a little town, right? But they had the very bad habit of blaspheming Our Lady and Jesus, in the open, just without any sort of qualms whatsoever. That's the way it was, and now it's actually a place of huge Marian devotion, where the rosaries prayed every day. So what happened here? Well, again, it was a very small town. There's probably 1,500 people that live there. But to Immacolata Ella, Our Lady appeared. And she warned that in order to call the attention of the people for their many sins and their serious offenses against her son Jesus, and also, in parentheses, and also the infidelity of some priests and religious, that Our Lady appeared to her and said that in the house of the lawyer Cordiano, in a little image, she would begin to shed lots of tears of blood. Right? So that's interesting because this was revealed. Our Lady appeared to Immacolata, and she revealed it in a letter to her spiritual director, who was a very faithful Capuchin priest. And she said, "Okay, in Maropati, in the house of this lawyer, Our Lady will shed tears of blood." And it was 26 days later that, yes, actually, the image began shedding blood in Cordiano's house. Now that's interesting because Cordiano was the Marxist mayor of the town. He had been that way for 12 years, and he wasn't practicing at all. I mean, he hadn't practiced even since he was a little kid. So for several months, he tried to hide the fact that this image was shedding blood, but it just kept repeating. It was only a year later that he finally converted, and he died in 1986, a fairly recent apparition. So again, these bleedings of this blood coming from the image started January 3rd, 1971, and it's continued, right, regularly, but it takes place usually several times during the year for over 40 years now, right? And again, there's many people who have seen this, and they've seen the blood come not only from the eyes, but also from Mary and Jesus' heart, from the hand that holds forth the rosary, which is part of the image, and also from the side, right? So this is really, really interesting, right? Then it says that the shedding of blood was very, very profuse on Holy Thursday in 1975. That was a holy year, right? And then again, there's many mentions of the times that they've taken this blood to be sampled, taken it to either the health office in the region. They've sent it also off to Gemelli Hospital and even to experts in Germany. Every time the same answer comes back. It is human blood without any mix of animal blood. So, with that in mind, then we go to near Louvain. There's Our Lady of Sikhem near Louvain in the Duchy of Brabant. It's said that 4 drops of blood excluded from the statue in the year 1306. Okay, certainly not the profuse sanguination that we have from Our Lady with the tears of blood. And then lastly, in 1944, the Bishop of Fatima asked Sister Lucia for the 3rd secret of Fatima on this day. So that would be January 3rd, 1944. For today's reading from the book by St. John Eudes, The Admirable Heart of Mary, we continue reading the chapter wherein the saint compares Mary's admirable heart to the throne of King Solomon. Solomon's throne was made of incorruptible wood of the cedar of Libanus, Lebanon, to show that the immaculate heart of the Mother of God was not only preserved from the corruption of sin, but also that its superabundance of heavenly graces rendered it incapable of sin by grace, as God is incapable of sin by nature. The 4 columns of Solomon's throne are the 4 cardinal virtues, which sustain the throne of the true Solomon, namely justice, prudence, fortitude, and temperance. The pillars made of silver denote the candor of innocence preserved in the heart that possesses them. This symbol was eminently verified in the most pure and innocent heart of the Queen of all virtues. The gold seed represents free will transformed by love into the adorable love of God. It can truly be said with David the royal prophet, "Whatever befall me, my soul shall trust the Lord in all things, with humility and submission to his will. From him is my salvation. He is my God, my stronghold, my living rock. Nothing can shake me." That's taken from Psalm 61. Every human will attaining this state of submission becomes the seat of the throne of Jesus. And in the will of the Blessed Mother, this was accomplished in a most perfect manner. Therefore, St. Peter Damian calls her the golden seat on which, after the tumult and disorder occasioned by the sin of angels and men, he sought and found his rest. This going up or back of purple represents ardent desire for the glory of God, for the sanctification of his name, and the accomplishment of his will on earth as it is accomplished in heaven. It symbolizes the divine love that constantly urged the zealous heart of the Mother of Love upward and onward, to do and suffer great things towards the fulfillment of the designs of the Creator. So for today's Marian meditation, we can continue reading from the book by Father Ildefonso Villar. And today's meditation, 24, is on the Annunciation and the virginal purity of Mary. So here we'll read the 3rd point, where Father Villar asks us to consider the Incarnation through virginity. Try to understand the sublimity of this plan. See God drawing a blueprint for the magnificent work of the Incarnation on the basis of the virginity of his mother. As we have already seen elsewhere, the redemption of mankind was faced by 2 insurmountable difficulties. First, humanly speaking, redemption was not possible because all mankind together could not atone for one single sin. It was necessary that redemption should be achieved by God. But second, God could not possibly atone and redeem as long as he could not sacrifice himself or immolate himself, suffer and die for man. Divinely speaking, then, redemption seemed also impossible. But God finds a way. He will become man and thus possess a body through which to suffer and die. But this body could not be formed like other bodies. Otherwise, it would be born stained like the rest. It would be a body conceived in sin. And such a body could not be taken up by the Son of God. The way out of this conflict is Mary Immaculate, stainlessly conceived. The Virgin Mary could be a mother without any detriment to her virginity. In this way, Jesus, as God, holy, virginal, and pure, will likewise, because his mother is holy, virginal, and pure, be so as man. Incarnation through virginity. How much beauty there is in this virtue.
Hello, and we hope that you enjoyed listening to our Marian podcast. In the spirit of Saint Bernard of Clairvaux, we say to you that there is no greater delight than to spread the devotion of Our Lady. We hope you share these sentiments and encourage you greatly to share with a loved one. Know that you are always in our prayers, and we ask that you keep us in yours. God bless.